Good writing takes time, so make sure you give yourself time. Having graded many students' essays over the years, and as the author of 4 books, I can tell you that quality writing takes time. There's simply no other way around it. So let's talk about the 9 steps for successfully writing a basic college level essay. Of course, if there's research involved, you're going to need to add more steps because you're going to need to do research and take notes and incorporate that material into your essay. But again, today we're going to talk about writing a basic, straightforward essay. Step number 1, know the rules, follow the rules. Read the rubric if your instructor gives you one. Make a checklist for yourself. Many students that I have often get lower grades simply because they fail to follow the directions that I give them, either by writing with the incorrect margins or not completing the specific number of pages, but make sure that you know the rules and understand them. Knowing the rules and understanding the rules is one of the key ingredients to successful writing. Step 2, write. Just write. Give yourself permission to write whatever comes into your mind. Many beginning college students will talk to me about getting writer's block. And writer's block isn't really real. People often talk themselves out of writing. What happens is you simply need to turn off your internal critic and give yourself permission to write. Step 3, edit. Editing your paper is very important. Here's some important tips for editing. Make sure you do not write like you write on MySpace or Facebook or any other internet site. And certainly don't use text message slang. How you write text message slangs or on MySpace or Facebook are fine and well and good for those places, but there's no place for that kind of writing in formal college writing. Most important of all in the editing process is do not trust your computer's spell checker or grammar checker. It's too often wrong. For example, you could write the sentence, I see the 4th one and read it. And each one of those words are spelled correctly, but they're the wrong words in the context of this sentence. Obviously, that sentence should be, I see the 4th one and read it. Step 4, sleep on it. When you're writing an essay, you simply need to leave a day or two between your writing to give yourself fresh eyes. Certainly, the longer your writing is, the longer of a break you can have. There are a number of times when I was writing books that I would leave 3 months or 6 months in between and go back and look at my material again in order to look at it with fresh eyes. Step 5, read the paper out loud. Reading your essay out loud is a great strategy to writing a successful essay because that will help you hear any possible mistakes you might make as well as see them. So the more senses you bring into play in writing your paper, the more successful you're going to be. Step 6, peer review. Give your essay to 1 to 2 other people whose writing skills you trust and have them read it and give you feedback on your essay. It's always a good idea to have other people proof your paper for mistakes. Now you want to be careful not to go overboard on this. You don't want to give your paper to 5 or 10 other people because you're going to get too much feedback and some of that feedback is going to be conflicting. So again, you simply want to pick 1 to 2 people whose writing skills you trust and have them read and proofread your essay and give you feedback on it. Step 7, revise your essay based on that feedback. Now this may seem obvious, but a number of college students I've spoken to went to the trouble of getting a friend or two to read their paper and give them feedback on it, but they didn't incorporate the information into the essay. You have to kind of have a thick skin when you're getting feedback on your writing. Every writer, it's very painful to go through and get editing advice. But what you really have to do is put your ego aside and really pay attention to what the person is suggesting. It doesn't mean you have to accept all their constructive criticism or feedback, but you really do want to pay attention to being open to hear what they have to say. Step 8, sleep on it. Again, sleeping on your essay, again as we said before, gives yourself time to look at it with fresh eyes. And the 9th and final step is do a final edit and turn it in. Again, one of the last things you want to do before you turn in the essay is go back to step number 1, that checklist that you made for following the rules and the directions that the instructor gave you. Make sure you go down through the checklist to make sure you haven't missed anything. It's always a good checkpoint to go back to that list. So those are the 9 steps for writing a successful college essay. Again, as we mentioned before, if you have a research component to your paper, then you're going to need to lengthen the steps. Because again, you're going to need to do research and take notes and incorporate that material into your paper. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, writing is difficult and takes time, but don't let that stop you. Everyone can be a good writer, including you. You can be a successful writer. Don't give yourself the excuse that you're not a good writer because you don't want to put the time and the effort into it. Good writing is a skill, just like riding a bike or playing tennis or learning martial arts or anything else. It takes some time, but the results are well worth it. So go for it. You can do it. Good luck.
Okay, everybody has one of these, right? Or similar? All of these have a recording device on them that you can use. This has come in very handy. One of the best ways to write an essay is to actually speak the essay first, or parts of it. You get an idea that pops into your head, record it, and you'll get it put together that way. A lot of times you can, well, you certainly can talk faster than you can type. Most people can at least. Okay. So if you speak the essay first, you're going to get the ideas out the way you would want them to sound. You can go back and you can type them, and now you're already into your second revision when you're typing it for the first time. Okay? So that's come in really handy to use one of these for your essays. All right? Here are some common essay mistakes. These are on page 28 in the packet. Plagiarizing, not a good one. Don't want to go to Google and cut and paste. Okay? Excessive thesaurusing. Just obviously you know what that is. Streamlining is essentially, a lot of times when we talk about streamlining, what you're doing is you're trying to sound a lot smarter than you need to. You're trying to use a lot bigger vocabulary than you necessarily have to. Just talk to them. Sometimes talking, and even conversationally, works better than streamlining it. Don't brag or try to impress. That kind of flows into that. Don't do an inappropriate topic. Okay? If you think it's inappropriate and you're not quite sure, you want to email me or you want to ask me. Okay? Ask somebody. Don't do an inappropriate topic. That'll nail you from the start. Don't make your essay into a resume. Of course, we're going to submit a resume, so we don't want to talk about the resume. If you do, you're only going to talk about it for what? What are the 2 things you're going to talk about? Come on, guys, help me out. 2 things. The how and the why. Okay? It's the only way you talk about your resume in your essays, to explain the how and the why. Brown nosing. Okay? You want to tell them what they want to hear, but you don't want to brown nose them, okay? Proofread, please. I should have spelled that wrong, but proofread. And have somebody else proofread it, and have somebody else beyond that proofread it, okay? And make sure you answer the question that they're asking you, especially in the short answer. Now, a lot of this, when you go, keep in mind, you're going to have some of your applications are going to give you a short answer, and they're going to say keep it to 250 words or 250 characters. Okay? That's obviously different. You got a lot less to write with if you're just doing characters, so keep that in mind. The question earlier was, do you count words? Well, they don't have to anymore because everything you're doing is electronic. So if they want to cut you off at 500 words, they'll cut you off at 500 words or 250 characters or whatever it is. If they don't, if it's just a box that you're writing your essay in, or you've got it on a Word document, you cut and paste it, and it's 600 words and it's only supposed to be 500, and they let you put the whole thing in, I think it's okay to do the 600 words. If it's 750, that's probably a problem. Okay, so just, they're probably going to limit you, the applications are probably going to limit you on how much you can actually write, but if they don't, just be judicious in how you do that, and of course answer the question. That goes into a little bit more detail on there in those as well, okay? The last thing I want to talk about is the Common App. Has anybody started working on your Common App? This thing's been around for 30 years, okay? And it started out, of course, it was just on paper. What happens, the idea behind this was that you would fill out one application and submit it to all your colleges. But the schools don't all want to ask the same question, do they? So what happens is there are supplements you're going to fill out on here. However, you are going to be able to put a lot of your information on here and not have to duplicate it again with other schools. That's going to help you a lot. And schools are starting to lean on this more and more as they make changes for it. But your college is always going to have supplements that they want you to fill out, specific questions they want you to answer, specific essays they want you to answer. There isn't a common way for them to do that. So let's watch this. I just want you to see some things that are inside of here with this. I actually don't remember ever doing this when I applied to school, so I probably did that wrong too. I'll tell you that when we close, I'll tell you the admissions story on mine.
Today I want to walk you guys through the Common App. So at commonapp.org, you can find the member colleges. You can search to see if your school is a member college, or there's a list of all of them. There's over 500 colleges throughout the country and even internationally that use the Common App. So if your school offers both the Common App and their own application, it's up to you which one you use. See on the site if they prefer one or the other, or if you have multiple schools that are offering you this situation, it may make sense to fill out the Common App in order to save yourself some time. You guys will go ahead when you first log in and create an account, but once you have an account, you will go ahead and sign on in. First thing you're going to want to do when you come to the Common Application is add colleges that you are interested in applying to. Okay, so for example, if I'm looking for the University of Redlands, I can go ahead and check on the school, press add, and it's going to let me know that it already exists. But if it wasn't, it'll then say it's been added to your list of colleges. Under the My Colleges tab, you will see all of the schools that you've listed that you are using the Common App to complete. For each one, they'll have their own set of questions. These are usually pretty brief. They just ask you about term or major or financial aid. They're a little different for each school, but they more or less are pretty straightforward, pretty short, maybe some academic information, whatever the case may be. As well, some of the schools will have an option to add recommenders. Our school uses Naviance, so you'll connect through to Naviance. If you have questions about that, you can come see me.
Nice.
It'll allow you to preview your, this is what's known as the supplement, okay, for your particular school. A lot of the schools will also have an additional writing supplement, meaning that they have their own essay questions that you need to answer for their particular school. And that is the supplement. Once you have all that done, you can go ahead and preview it. Where the common portion of the Common Application comes in is this main section here, the Common App. Okay, while the supplement is specific, you saw in the My Colleges tab, the supplement is specific to each school. This main Common Application portion will only be filled out once, and then will be submitted to all of your schools as is. So in this main portion, you want to make sure that you really edit the information, that it's all accurate before you send it out to one school. Once you send this main Common Application portion once, it will lock the information in. So you want to make sure this is filled out correctly the first time. Also remembering that the Common App portion goes to every school that you're using the Common App for. The My Colleges, like I said, you can make specific to each of the individual schools because they are only going to be the ones who receive that information. In this main Common Application portion though, most of the information is pretty straightforward. Contact information, address, demographics, geography, where are you located, what languages do you speak, citizenship, all of those basic things. As well, there's a fee waiver. What you just saw is that if I hover over certain areas, an additional box will show up with additional information. But if you do need a fee waiver, you're going to want to read through these pieces of information. You can also provide a supporting statement from a school official, counselor. It's a great way to help out with the fee waiver. It's then going to ask you about your family information, your parents, and your siblings. It's pretty straightforward. I'm actually going to move on to the education section. In this section, basically, you are going to look up our school. It's going to ask when you started at this school, your counselor information, their contact information is all available on the school website, so take a look at that. I can also go ahead and add additional schools. Maybe I started at LCC my first year, so I can add additional schools if I need to. It's going to ask me about education interruptions. Did I graduate early or did I take a year off? Most of you are probably going to say no. It's going to ask you if you took any classes at a community college or a four-year college. I added in that I took classes at MiraCosta, and it's going to ask, where were those classes taught, when did I take classes, and you want to make sure that you're not putting that you put a degree down, because as high school students, none of you should have a degree at this point. It's going to ask about CDOs, or community-based organizations that helped you fill out your application. College Apps doesn't need to be listed as one of those. It's going to ask about your grades. Graduating class size for SDA for class of 2014 is 420 students. And the GPA scale for us should be listed as a 4. You guys want to put in your weighted total GPA. This is your 9 to 12 total GPA that you would go ahead and put in here. You just say that we don't rank. It's not a crisis. Our district as a whole doesn't rank. Honestly, for 99% of you, it's to your benefit that the school doesn't rank. It's also then going to ask about your current year courses. It's one of your senior classes, and it wants you to list all of them. Obviously, if you have a free fourth, you don't list free fourth, but any class you're taking, peer tutor, TA, English, any of those classes, and all of those classes will get listed. You will need to tell them how many you want to report. I would list government and econ separately. It'll ask for the course title. It'll ask for the level if applicable. This is honors or AP. It's going to ask for how many credits. At STA, all of our courses are 10 credits with the exception of government and econ because you're only taking them for half a term. Okay? Course year schedule, you have many options. Once again, for all of these, it's a full year because we would be taking it for 2 quarters. So you list full year. Like I said, the one exceptions to these are government and econ. I'm taking economics. It's 5 credits, and I'm taking it first semester, so I would go ahead and list that. Government, I'm going to say it's 5 credits, and I said that it's second semester because I'm taking it second quarter. Okay, but otherwise, all of my courses, name them, 10 credits, full year. Okay? It's then going to ask about honors. Have you received any honors beginning with 9th grade? Please indicate them. What grades did you receive them? Was it a school, a regional? Regional would be something like San Diego County or the Western